Hello, Holly Hill. It's time for our next training video. Today we're talking about our serving mission of the month. This is going to be our last video for the month of September. So let's remind ourselves of our vision, like we always do, to be where Christ lives, where people love, and where lives change. And we do that through our mission, which is to equip the saints, teach the word, and serve the world. So notice the three parts there: equipping, teaching, and serving. Today we're talking about serving. So serving is doing the work of Christ in the world through love. So we're demonstrating the love of Christ in the world through our service. And to go along with that, we have a monthly challenge, a monthly mission about serving. Now remember, these challenges are not the be-all and end-all. They're just examples. They're concrete examples of things that we can do right now to live out the mission of the church. And our serving mission for the month of September is consider your gifts and use them to perform an unexpected kindness for someone that you don't know very well. So this has a couple of aspects to it: using your gifts, serving someone, and also getting to know somebody a little bit better. So it has really three parts to it there. And the passage that we're referring to is 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 10, which says, "As each of you has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace." Notice we are good stewards of what God has given to us only when we use the gifts that He has given us. If we have gifts, if we have abilities to do certain things and we don't do those things to help serve others, then we're not being good stewards of what God has given to us. So serving others is really how we demonstrate the love of Jesus in the world. Remember, you are if you're part of the church, you are part of the body of Christ. You're part of, you're His hands, you're His feet, maybe His mouth. See, He's using you to accomplish His work of love, mercy, and service in the world around you. So the question is, will you allow yourself to be led to serve others for the glory of the head of the body? Will you allow yourself to be used in the body of Christ according to your gifts and according to your abilities to do what needs to be done to serve others? So that's what this challenge is all about. So during our first Sunday night training session, mission training, where we all got together downstairs at the church building in the fellowship hall, and we sat down in groups and we discussed how to do these challenges. We had three questions in regard to this challenge. The first one was, tell the group something you feel is one of your strongest gifts and allow the group to give examples of ways that gift could be used to serve others. Write down the ideas. Now, I can't really tell you in this training video what your gift is. I can't tell you that because I don't know who's watching this video specifically. So right now in this moment, you have to tell me what you think your gift is. What do you think God has blessed you with the ability to do that could benefit somebody else? Think about that. And I'm sure something is jumping to mind pretty immediately. Like, most of us know things that we're good at, or things that we like to think that we're good at. So what is it that's jumping into your mind right now? Now, how can you use that to then serve somebody else today? How can you turn around and use that gift that you're thinking of right now to do something kind for somebody else? There's an answer there. You just have to think of it. So think about that. The second question was, what specific needs within the congregation or what specific people could benefit from some of the gifts discussed in the previous question? So again, that depends on what your gift is. But there's always going to be people within the congregation, categories of people within the congregation that are going to need your help, that are going to need encouragement, and are going to need your serving. Think about the elderly, the people that don't have a lot of family or support or that can't get out. Think about the people who are in the hospital, or the people who have just come home from the hospital and kind of need help getting back up and running again. Think about all the lonely people out there who are kind of off by themselves. And then somebody mentioned this during the worship, during the training session. What about the church leaders? What about the elders? What about the people who are burdening themselves, who have taken on the burden willingly to lead the congregation? How could you encourage them? And so think about all of the different types of people or the specific needs within the congregation that could be met with your gift, with your ability, the way that you could serve. And now the third question that we asked was, what are some ways that we can get serious about serving others and following through on our plans to serve? How do we get serious about this? And that implies that we're not always very serious about using our gifts. Sometimes we hold on to those gifts and we don't really use them to serve others. So what do? We have to get intentional. We have to be intentional about using our gifts for others. We need to think about the gifts that God has given us as opportunities for helping other people. We need to think about our gifts as being given to us by God specifically for the purpose of helping other people, not ourselves. So we have to get intentional about it. Another way that we can get serious about serving others and actually following through on doing that is we can give ourselves reminders. However you might choose to do that. I use sticky notes. If you could see my desk right now and my computer screen, I've got sticky notes all over it because I use sticky notes to remind myself of things that I know I'm going to forget otherwise. So you could get sticky notes and put them around where you're going to see them. You could put a reminder on your phone. You could use a whiteboard. There's so many different things that you can do to give yourself reminders. But having something in your life that is a reminder to use your gifts to serve others will help you get more intentional about using your gifts for the benefit of others. Also, you can start simple. Here's something that the trap that we get into is jumping off the deep end and getting in too deep, and it becomes overwhelming and we get burnt out. Start simple and then work your way up from there. And also, as you're starting simple, you're going to be building relationships that then will cause you to reinvest yourself further with your gifts into those relationships. Another way that we can get intentional, really get serious about this, is we can begin to put aside time and money for the purpose of serving others. A lot of our gifts that we have require a little bit of time and money in order to use. So we put aside time and money for a lot of other things. Our job, for example. We budget money for the gas money that we need to get to our jobs. We put aside time and say, I need 8 to 10 hours every day to do this job. And so I can't do anything else during this time. I can't go to this event. I can't be at this. I can't do this because I will be at my job. So we put aside time and money for our jobs. We do the same thing for church services. We put aside time on Sunday mornings and say, this is the time I'm going to be at worship. Hopefully, we also put aside the same time for Sunday evenings, and I know a lot of us do not do that. I'd like to see more of us doing that. But hopefully, we put aside time on Sunday evenings and say, this is a time for meeting with the church family again. Again, Wednesday evenings, this is a time where we get together and study the Bible. So I'm not going to do other things during this time. This is my time for worship and for Bible study. We do the same thing with our money in regard to church. We put aside a little bit of money and say, we're going to contribute this to the work of the church. That's what this is for. So we set aside time and money for our jobs, for our hobbies, for school, for church. Why don't we set aside time and money for serving others and say, this is a time I'm going to work on serving other people, and this is a little bit of money that I'm going to use in order to do that. So just some thoughts about how we can get intentional about really serving others and using our gifts to serve others. So this is a shorter video, but let's end right now and talk about the next steps. There are 5 steps that we need to do right now in order to complete this challenge. So the first step is, of course, ask God for guidance. Pause the video right now, pray to God, and ask for wisdom, for compassion, for help Him to guide you into what you ought to do, and how you should go forward with the rest of this challenge. The second step is determine your gifts. So if you haven't done that already in the earlier part of this video, pause the video, maybe get a piece of paper, and write down the things that you know you're really talented at that you could help somebody else with, or you could serve someone else using those gifts. All right, the third step is determine who could benefit from your talents. So think about, again, we talked about this earlier in the video, think about specific needs within the congregation and think about specific individuals within the congregation that could benefit from what you can do, the gifts that God has given you. All right, and the fourth step is then choose what specifically you're going to do and when. So you need to say, I'm going to use my gift in this way, and I'm going to do it at this time for this individual. So pause and think about that right now. And then the fifth step is follow through. Make it happen. Do whatever you need to do to make it happen. Those are the 5 steps to completing this challenge. And again, these challenges are just jumping off points. They're not the be-all and end-all of the work of the church. They're just to help us get our feet wet, to get more comfortable, to get more used to working in the church and living out our mission. So a couple of reminders. After you complete the challenges, drop the pom-pom ball in the serving jar at the Mission Control Center in the lobby of the church building. Another reminder is watch next Sunday's training video. They come out every Sunday. Another reminder, make plans to be at the next mission training, which is going to be October 2nd, next Sunday evening at 6 p.m. It's going to be a great time. Every time so far, we have had a great time. We laugh. We just have such a good time, and the hour flies by. It really does. And we leave from there feeling a little bit more energized, a little bit more accomplished, and a little bit more equipped to really go out and do the work of the church. So please be there October 2nd at 6 p.m. That's next Sunday. Also, last reminder, if you're part of the mission launch team, if you signed up on that sheet to be part of the mission launch team, don't forget to invite someone else to join in completing these challenges because the month is almost over. So please make sure to follow through on that. Well, thanks for watching. We will see you next Sunday as we talk about our overview for the month of October. I can't believe September's over already. But anyway, we'll see you next week. May God bless you. Hope to see you at the training session next Sunday night. Bye.